Hello students, I hope that you all are healthy and safe at your home. Students, today we will start with the learning in geography of class 7th and the first chapter is representation of geographical features. Now when we start the chapter, first you must know what are the geographical features. The geographical features are naturally created features of the earth. They include hills, cliffs, valleys, rivers and numerous other elements. In the previous classes, you have studied about the map and the globe. You know the difference between it, and you also know that the map is a symbolic representation of the selected characteristic of a place, usually drawn on a flat surface. Now, you know its kinds also: the political map, the physical map, topographical map, climatic map, and economic and thematic maps. In the previous classes, students, you have studied about the political and physical maps. In this chapter, today we are going to study about the topographical maps. This chapter, representation of geographical features, the outline of the chapters are divided in 6 parts. The first part is topographical survey maps. Second, the use of colors on topographical sheet. Third, the grid reference. Fourth, scale. Fifth, measuring distance on the map using scales. Sixth, conventional signs and symbols. Now in this chapter, we'll go according to the points given as an outline. The first point is topographical survey map. Now here you have a map in front of you. This type of maps are known as topographical maps. That is a new part for you all. Slowly you will understand the things shown in this type of maps. These topographical survey maps, also known as topo sheets, are large-scale maps. They are based on accurate survey of the land. These maps shows the natural features of the ground such as hill elevation, drainage, trees and vegetation. They also show man-made features such as towns, villages, buildings, roads, canals, bridges and others in detail. These maps are usually very helpful in planning about the roads, irrigation and town plans. So students, when we read about these topographical maps, we have to also know what are the purpose of using this type of maps. The purposes can be, it is used as a guide for traveling. They are used for military purpose. They are used by the students of geography to study the regional geography of an area in detail. These maps provide useful information to the engineers, town planners, tourists, geographers, geologists, etc. Now when we study these maps, we see that there are different colors used in it. The different colors which are used in this type of maps help us to know about the different geographical features. Each color used on the map has its own significance. These colors are universally accepted both for the interpretation of survey sheets and map pointing. Now there is a picture in front of you in which different colors are shown and also shown that these colors are used for which conventional signs and symbols. Now you can see that yellow, it is used for cultivable land, plateaus, desert and plains. Green, forest areas or lowland areas. White, rocky area or bad land, hence uncultivated land you can say. Blue, perennial line wells, streams, lakes, ponds and water bodies in general. Brown, contour lines, their height and relief features like mountains. Now these contour lines you will be studying in this type of topographical sheets. Fourth, black, dry streams and surveyed trees. Red, permanent hut settlements and cities, etc. Now using different colors make it very easy for you to understand the different geographical features in the topographical sheet. Now with this we have completed the 2 points of our chapter, the topographical survey maps and the use of colors on the topographical sheet. The third point was the grid reference. Now in the earlier classes you have studied about the grid and It was the system in the slanting and the horizontal rays. You have studied the different lines, the imaginary lines which are in the latitude and the longitudinal way when they cut each other and make a grid, that you have studied in the earlier classes also. Here the grid reference, you can see there is a picture. The vertical lines which are numbered from west to east are called eastings. In the next picture you can see the horizontal lines which are numbered from south to north are called northings. These network of vertical and horizontal lines or the eastings and the northings is called a grid. It is also identified as a grid reference. This you have studied in class 6 also. Now this grid help us to locate a place, exact position of a place on the map. This practice will be given to you in the classroom when the school will reopen. Now the next point of the chapter is the scale and its use. When we study about the scale, when we talk about the scale, picture of the scale comes in our mind. Actually, the scale here, when we study a map, is the measuring line which shows the relation of the distance between two places on a map to their actual distance on the land. This is also the definition of the scale. You can write it, copy it in a paper and learn it. That scale can be defined as a ratio between a distance measured on a map and a corresponding distance on the land, connecting the 2 points represented by the same unit. For example, when we say that the scale of the map is 1 centimeter to 1 kilometer, we mean that 1 centimeter on the map represents 1 kilometer on the ground. Maps may be a large scale map or a small scale map. Now the difference can be easily seen on the screen. The difference between the large scale maps and the small scale map is the large scale map shows a small area in a great detail, whereas the small scale maps shows a larger area in less detail and space. The second point of differentiation is examples include guide maps or topographic maps for the large scale map, and for the small scale map the example includes wall maps or atlas maps. The third point of differentiation is the details of cities, towns and villages are shown in the large scale map, whereas in the small scale maps they show important relief features like mountains, plateaus, continents and countries. And the last point of difference is the scale may be 1 centimeter, that is equal to either 50 meter or 1 kilometer, as it is large scale maps. In the small scale map, the scale may be 1 centimeter, that is equal to 100 centimeter. Now, after reading the difference between the large scale map and a small scale map, here we are having the types of scales. The scales we will be studying in the next topic, in the next period, but you must know the types of scale. The first part is verbal scale or a statement. Second is numerical fraction, that is also known as representative fraction or RF. C part is graphic scale or linear scale, that we will be discussing in the next period. Now students, we are up to the end of this topic and you will be able to attempt small questions. So I gave you 2 or 3 questions. You can copy it in your rough copy or you can make your geography notebook and you can start writing to do this work. If you have any problem, in the next video I will give you some answers in the written also. You can try it. The first question for today's assignment is, what do you mean by topographical survey maps? Question number 2. State 3 purposes of using topographical maps. Question number 3. Name some colors used in conventional signs and symbols. Question number 4. What is a grid? Question number 5. Differentiate between the large scale and the small scale maps. Thank you, students.
Now you see what are the uses of maps. Maps are very useful for students, tourists and travelers. It is also useful in planning defense as well as attacks. And it also provides a lot of information for the planning of roads, for the planning of housing colonies, for factories. Now you see the elements of a map. There are 5 main elements of a map. These are title, direction, grid, scale and key or legend. First is the title. You must have seen at the top of the map the topic that is written, what the map is all about. That is the title. It indicates the subject of the map. And now come to the direction. Direction are basically, there are 4 major directions: north, south, east and west. At the right hand side of the corner of the map, you must have seen there is a line that points towards north, that shows the north direction, and just opposite to it is the south direction. Right hand side is east and left hand side it's the west. Apart from these 4 major directions, there are 4 intermediate directions also. These are northeast, southeast, northwest and southwest. Now you see what is a grid. It is a set of lines that is used to find the exact location of a place. These lines are latitudes and longitudes. Now what are lines of latitudes? These are imaginary lines, imaginary circular lines that runs from east to west, and those lines are parallel to the equator. While lines of longitudes are imaginary lines that run from north to south. Let's see the scale. What is a scale? It's a ratio between a unit distance on the map and the actual distance on the ground. Suppose you are taking a scale of 1 centimeter is to 250 kilometers. It means a distance of 1 centimeter on the map, that is equal to 250 kilometers on the ground. There are mainly 3 types of scales that is shown in a map. That is linear or graphical scale. Second is verbal or statement scale. And the third is representative fraction. What is linear graphical scale? You can see it's a straight line that is drawn to a scale and that is divided in terms of distance on the earth. Now see the scale. On the map, we are showing it as 2 centimeters, 4 centimeters, 6 centimeters, 8 centimeters. And what the actual distance that is shown, that is of the ground, that is 150 kilometers, 300 kilometers, 450 kilometers, 600 kilometers. What does it mean? It means 2 centimeters that is on the map, that is the actual distance will be 150 kilometers on ground. And when it is written like this, it is called a verbal or statement scale. Now what is representative fraction? In this method, the map scale is expressed as numeric ratio and the denominator represents the ground distance. So the formula is RF equals to map distance by ground distance. Come to the next element of the map, key or legend, that explains the meaning of symbols that is used in the map. What is symbol? Conventional symbol. Maps use some symbols to show the natural features or man-made features with a very definite and fixed meaning, and that is universally accepted. They are called conventional symbols. These are the conventional symbols you see. These are some selected ones. For the boundaries we use black color, and we have drawn here international boundary, that is very bold and thick dash as well as dots. For the state boundary, it is not very thick, it's a thin line, dash and dot. For the district boundary, small dashes, all in black colors. Now see the roads, these are drawn in red color. Metalled road, 2 dashes, which is not broken. For the unmetalled road, broken lines drawn in red color, these show the unmetalled road. For cart track, a very simple red line, and for footpath, these are the red dots. Now come to the water bodies. Blue color, stream, perennial well, it's a circle that is shaded with blue color, perennial tank, and it's a canal. And see the settlements which are drawn with red color. Temporary hut, which is a square, not shaded, it is blank. Permanent hut, it is shaded with red color.